Lesson C5, Intermediate Calculations, Topic 5, Totalisers. The learning objectives for this topic are to understand the two different totalizer functions in Ingenuity. It's Totalise 1 and Totalise 2. Now, Totalise was the original totalizer that was developed back in about 2013. It's a basic totalizer that works over regular time intervals. This has since been superseded by Totalise 2, which is a more advanced totalizer that can handle calendar date periods. So for all cases where you totalize something, you should use Totalise 2. Totalise still exists because it means Ingenuity is backwards compatible with calcs that were made a number of years ago. The Totalise function is still available and can be used if you want to. It has less inputs. You give it a tag, you give it the interval to totalize over, you give it an anchor point, and then you give it a data rate. The anchor point is the point in time from which you start totalizing for the interval, and then it will reset. Totalise 2 has more inputs. It has the tag, the interval, the anchor, the data rate, plus a range totalize hint and a single point totalize hint. So this allows you to tune the level of accuracy versus speed that you would like. So the totalize function has inputs like this. If we totalize the value 1 over the course of a day, so the interval is 1 day, the anchor point is midnight every day, and the data rate, if we said the data rate was 1 day, the total over that day would be 1. If we said the data rate was 1 hour, the total would be 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. And a trend of that would look something like this. So you'd have the reset at midnight every night, and the total would increase linearly up till 29, 23, 59, 59.999. It would be 1 or 24, and then it would reset. So the totalize functions are resetting totalizers that give you a time series return that totalizes over your window. Very useful for KPIs and the likes. So Totalise doesn't handle time zones or irregular date periods, so for example daylight savings, and it has been superseded by Totalise 2. So Totalise 2 has similar inputs. We could put things in the same format. If we look at the lower example here, the set of inputs look very much the same. We'll totalize 1 over a day, we'll anchor it at a certain point in time, and we'll say the data rate's an hour. Now I'll talk about the range totalize hint and single point totalize hint later. If we look at the top example though, Totalise 2 can handle known terms for date ranges, for example day or begin day and quarter. Now we've used quarter and begin quarter for this example chart below. Here we say totalize the value 1, start over a quarter and start at begin quarter, the first day in the quarter. And you can see here that at the start of April our total starts to rise until it gets to the end of June, which is the quarter, April, May and June, and then it resets and a new quarter begins. Totalise supports all the original Totalise functions, plus we can write day, month, quarter or year for our interval, and we can anchor the Totalise point to begin day, begin month, begin quarter or begin year, as well as specifying specific timestamps or date and timestamps. We also have this concept of a tunable accuracy versus speed to a result. So what does that mean? Totalise hints allow us to tune the level of accuracy we get and the speed to a result. For example, if we're going to ask for 1,000 points from the resulting calculation, putting a Totalise hint of 1 will mean that we ask the raw data for 1,000 interpolated points and we'll then do our calculation. If we do a Totalise hint of 2, we'll ask for 2,000 interpolated points and then we'll do our calculation based on that and return 1,000 points. So why would we be interested in doing that? Well, if the underlying data varies a lot, then having a higher sample rate will give us a more accurate result. If it doesn't change very much, then it doesn't really matter how much we sample it. However, the cost of doing this is that moving from 1 to 2 doubles the amount of data that we ask for, so it will take twice as long to solve. But this is a tunable option at least. You have the option within Totalize 2 to tune the level of accuracy.